Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to another Tuesday Night Live with independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Teresa Harper. I'm located in Oregon in the United States. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate it so much. As you can see before you, we're going to be using the shell collecting stamp set, and I have this out the way I because even with the new packaging, Stampin' Up! Has not put these up full size for the images on the packaging, and it does not denote any differently that these are not full size. So while it may look like they're very small, they're actually quite large. Okay, so I wanted to point that out, that some of the new packaging is deceiving. Stampin' Up! Used to put down here that the images were shown at a certain percentage of their size, but they've stopped that. And so you don't know what you're getting until you pull it out. So I just wanted to make sure that you are aware of that. I just checked the inventory status sheet and it looks like everything I'm using tonight is in stock. So that's really nice. Thank you very much. I'm happy about that. And let's go ahead and log in here. Then we'll get going, see what we can find here on the Facebook. I haven't left you, just so you know. We have a promotion going when you join right now. You can spend $99 on the starter kit. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, Tracy. Hello, Jennifer. And when you buy the starter kit for $99, you choose up to $125 in product of whatever you want to put in there. Stampin' Up! Sends you some business supplies, some catalogs and things. And then they're going to throw in the new Stampin' Positioning tool. And we're going to be using this tonight. Again, I love this thing. Hello, Jennifer. So shell collecting is the primary bundle that we'll be using tonight. I'm also going to give you a sneak peek of the March 2026 online exclusives. This is called Rolling Waves. It's a 11-piece photopolymer stamp set, and then it has a coordinating die set, and you get 11 dies, and we will be using these tonight. And you guys, I'm struggling with my thumb. I overworked it today, finishing up 40 treat boxes for Valentine's Day, and this thumb is very unhappy. But these are the dies, so we're going to be using those. I've already done the die cutting to save us some time, but I did want to show you those. So there we go. Lifting things is a problem, so it's going to take me a minute here. In addition to the two bundles, or that bundle, and then this shell collecting set, we're also going to be using the Creative Haven dies, and specifically this die right here. Okay, so these are 11 dies. This has a coordinating stamp set that's sentiments only. I did not get that. I just got the dies. And this is from the November 2025 online exclusives. Okay, so we've got that. I think I pretty much, let me see. Okay. Okay, we'll put those away. And hopefully I don't need to pull those out again because that would be bad. And then our gems for this card are going to be the low profile sparkle dots. So hopefully I'll remember to put those on. Hello, Cher. So glad to see you. All right, so this is our color palette. I know there's lots of, man, I didn't put those in there very good. Okay, let's see if I can lift these up. All right, this is our color palette for tonight. I know it's a lot, but you're going to love the card. So let's go ahead and get started. And I think right away, I'll keep these two out because those are the two I'm going to need right away. All right, we're going to do some ink blending. We're going to be doing some techniques tonight for this card. Oh, I should have left those dies out. Darn it. Okay, hang on. Let me pull them. Let me pull them again. Oh, there. I'll pull them with that hand. Okay, then I can show you what I did. Okay, so I've taken this die here, right here, and I've cut in basic white this, okay? And then also in basic white, all of these pieces are cut in basic white. I've cut this one, and this is what it looks like, okay? Hopefully those are all in frame. There they are, good. Okay, and then this die is what we used to call an edgelet. So it just cuts, it cuts your paper however thick you want it. So what I did was I took a piece of 3" by 5¼ basic white, and I just cut this. Now this is going to be taller than I need, but I would rather have too much and cut off the bottom than not have enough. Okay, so that's what you get when you cut that. And basically these three are intended to layer. So this one's going to go on top of this one, which will go on top of this one, okay? And that looks pretty boring, right? Never fear, we're gonna jazz it up. Okay, so in the meantime, let's go ahead and put these away. And now I can put this back, but I wanted you to be able to see what I did cut, okay? Ouch. Okay, here we go. We're going to bring in some Lost Lagoon ink and a blending brush. And we're going to put some on both of these pieces. Okay, so let's grab our Lost Lagoon brush and get some ink on there. And I'm going to gently just put on a little bit of ink. I don't want a ton on this piece, I just want a little. Okay, so I'm going to stick with that for now. Then I'm going to put some more on this piece. Okay, so we've got that. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to add a little bit there, and then I'm going to move this over and add, oh man, I didn't think about not being able to open ink pads. You know what, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of the, I can open these no problem because they just flip. The other ones are a little bit harder. I'm just going to put a little bit of the pretty peacock here. Okay. Or the Lost Lagoon. This one a little. Oh. Okay, there we go. Then I'm going to take the same brush and I'm going to add some pretty peacock, but I want my pretty peacock at the bottom here. Okay, kind of like that. So that I've got the Lost Lagoon and then the pretty peacock more down here. Okay, now I'm going to set that aside. And then I'm going to bring this piece in. And I'm trying to, I can't really hold on to this very good. I wish I knew what I did to my hand, but I don't. Okay, so we've got that. Now let's go ahead and stack these and see how they're going to look. And if that's what we're looking for here, we're just going to stack these up like this. Okay. I think I want just a little bit more. I'm going to go super light because I've got the pretty peacock on there now and I really don't want it to be dark. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for right there. I've got that. All right, am I done with this? I hope. Yeah, I think so for now. Okay, now let's go ahead and wipe off our glass mat here. All right, and then we're not done ink blending, so let's set this piece aside. And let's bring in a 5 1/4 by 4-inch piece that I just was making sure that I've got the right one. Okay, this is going to be our base layer. And for this one now, this is going to go here. But before I do too much, I need to stamp something here. So we're going to bring in this stamped image, or this stamp from the Rolling Wave set. And we're going to take some crumb cake and I'm going to take this and I need a scrap piece of paper. Where did my scrap go? Here we go. Got my scrap piece of paper. I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to stamp it off because I don't want this to be very dark. And then I'm going to take a look about where I want this. I'm going to go about right here. About right here. Okay. And then I'm going to take the sand image. And again, I want to stamp this off. I'm going to stamp in just a little bit of sand granules here. Okay, there we go. All right, so we've got that. Now, get rid of that. And then we're going to bring in some Darling Duckling ink and a brush. And I'm going to brush along this edge right here, like so. Okay. I'm going to leave that out in case I need it again. And then I'm going to bring in Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to overlap on that yellow on the Darling Duckling. And I want this to be kind of bright here. Okay. All right. I'm going to close this one up. And finally, I'm going to bring in some Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to grab a brush for that. I have these. Get some Misty Moonlight here. And we'll just put this at the top. We're going to still overlap our Flirty Flamingo, but I don't want that to go in too far because I don't want to erase my Flirty Flamingo. Okay, now I think that'll be good with that. I am going to go back with my Flirty Flamingo, and I want to brighten up this area right here. Just want to bring back in the brightness. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing with my Darling Duckling. I'm going to brighten that back up. Okay, there we go. I'm happy with that. Okay, so I think we can set most of those aside for the moment. We're done with our blending brushes. All right, now we've got this nice little scene here, and we're going to go ahead and add in our pieces. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these together. And I just buried my silicone mat here. So let's just, I'm using the Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue in a fine tip bottle. And I'm just dotting because I don't need that much. A dot goes a long way here. Just a dot, not a lot. Okay. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to add this right here. And that's going to line up perfectly. Okay. Then we're going to flip this over. And we're going to dot, not a lot. I want some of these finer pieces to get just a smidge of glue so they don't pull up later. And I don't really need a lot there in that section there because I'm going to put my glue all up here and that's going to anchor pretty much everything down. Okay. And then we're going to add this in here like so. And get that all nice and lined up. And then I want to take just a little bit of Wink of Stella and put it on the parts that are kind of white so it looks like the foam and the sunlight will glimmer on those areas. Okay, flip that over so that those pieces will glue down. Okay, so this is what we have. And then we're going to add this along here, like so. Okay, but I see some spots here, and that looks kind of, I'm going to take my crumb cake blending brush, and I'm just going to add just a little bit in this side right here. And that's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to leave the rest of this just like that. So we're going to take, and I'm just going to run some Stampin' Seal along the edge here, which I should have done on my silicone mat because apparently I'm not doing very good on that Stampin' Seal tonight. Can't run a straight line, that's for sure. I don't want to glue right at the top because I've got some things I want to tuck under there. So I'm just going to put this in here like so. Put that in there, line that up right there on that edge. Okay. And then I'll bring my trimmer in. I'm going to put that in my trimmer and I'm just going to cut that off. Okay. There is our base layer. Right there. Okay. Now we need to do some stamping. So let's get out some basic white card and let's stamp some images. I want to show you how this shell stamp set works. And I've got, that's kind of sticky on there. Let's just turn that over and use this. Okay, so we're going to take the clamshell and the scallop, and we also need whatever this is. Okay, this shell collecting is a reversibles. So we're going to start with the clam, and we're going to do the base in this crumb cake. Okay, then I'm going to close this up. I'm done with this. What did I do with my basic beige? I put it over here. Okay, all right. So then we're going to take our scallop. I think that's a scallop. I don't know. And I'm going to stamp this in Flirty Flamingo. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp this one in Pretty Peacock. I'm not going to close that one up yet, though. Okay. I'm going to stamp this one. Wow. What do I got going there? Okay, so I've got that. All right. Now, in addition to those, we need some tiny clamshells. This is from the Rolling Waves. We're going to need some starfish, and we're going to need one of these little doohickeys. Let's set these aside for just 1 second. Let's get our scrap paper. We're going to stamp that off. Okay, for this one, I'm going to bring in Timid Tiger. And I'm going to stamp that off. And stamp those. And then we need basic beige. Okay. So we're going to take the clamshells And we're going to stamp those in basic beige. All right, so we've got that. Okay, now we're going to turn these over. I'm going to clean these 3 large cells. And because these are reversible now, I'm just going to pick this up, flip it over, and do the same thing here, and the same thing here. We're going to flip those over. Okay? Now we're going to start with the clamshell, and we're going to ink that up in the basic beige, and I'm going to stamp that off, and then I'm going to fill in my clamshell with my basic beige. Okay? Now we're going to repeat that process with the Flirty Flamingo. So we're going to ink that up, stamp that off, and fill in our shell. And once again with the Pretty Peacock. And fill that in. Okay, so now all of our shells are colored, and I didn't have to color them with blends. All right. So for the smaller shells, the Rolling Waves dies. Put them again, didn't I? What did I do with those? With the Rolling Waves dies, you can cut this one. This is one die, cuts both of these at the same time. And with the starfish, one die cuts all 3. Okay, so you would take those to your machine and die cut those out. And these 3 have to be fussy cut. There are no dies for those. But I didn't want you to have to do that. Sit and watch me do that. So here's our pieces all cut out that we needed. Okay, do the magic of video. Those are done. And I also cut that Creative Haven die in the new product of the month. Okay, so I used this sheet here, and I just cut a small piece out of there for that. Okay, so here's the other side of that. With these, you get 3 each of 4 designs. And of course, they're double-sided. Okay, and then there's that one. All right. Let's go ahead and put this together and finish this card up. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this. Oh, yeah, I forgot my other piece. Hang on. We got our sentiment piece. We got to get that. What did I do with it? Oh, man, I had those pieces. I had 2 of them, so I would have enough. Okay, it's got to be in here, right? They didn't just disappear. Oh, man. I hate when that happens. Oh, I dropped him on the floor. Okay. These labels, we're only going to use one. This is cut from the More Messages die. And I just had cut a bunch of them and have them in this little container. And so I just reached in and pulled them out. And I pulled out 2 in case I messed up one. That More Messages die is on the last chance list. Oh, my hairs need to get out of the way. Okay, so we still have to stamp this. And I think I actually have this. I do have it over here, don't I? Yep, hang on. I got to move this out of the way. I forgot. I put it on here for the next project. So I'm just going to lay this right here, right over that sentiment that I already have there. Not going to be able to put those down. We're going to ink this up in Pretty Peacock and we're going to hope it works. Because I don't want to have to take it off. Although I think I had it lined up for the inside sentiment. Maybe not. Maybe we can pull it off. Okay. That looks pretty straight there how I need it. Let's go ahead and put that down. That is not inking up very well. Let's see how we did. Let's see how we did. Pretty good. That's good enough. It's good enough. It's a little low, but it'll work, right? Okay. At least it's straight. That's the important part. Okay, so now we have all our pieces. Let's put this together. And let's be done. Our next one's even lengthier, so. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're going to take this piece. And we're going to add it down here. Let's see. I want this one to go here. And this one to go, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to move this one over a little bit. Over centered a little bit, but about right there. Okay. Then I'm going to put this up on a dimensional. Okay, and just one. I'm just putting one there. And you will see why in a moment. Let's put this up about like that. Then we're going to put this one on a dimensional. And we're going to slip it underneath. Just like that. And then I'm going to take a glue dot and slip it under here like so. Okay. Now, I'm going to take our sentiment. Man, I'm having a hard time picking things up. I'm going to take our sentiment. I'm just going to put some liquid glue right here in the middle. Both ends are going to hang off of this tag. So I'm going to stick this right here. All right. I'll flip that over. I'm going to put dimensionals at the top of this, but not at the bottom. I'm going to bring back in my card layer here. And I'm going to add this here. And because I've got 3 layers of cardstock here, that's why I put the dimensionals at the top and not at the bottom. But I should have been, man, I should have put some glue down there and I didn't. But I'm showing you how to fix it. That's how you fix it. Just throw some liquid glue on there and glue that down. There we go. Okay, now we've got these 3 pieces. We're going to grab the glue dots for those. I'm going to add these to our project. I'm just going to grab that and put this up here about right here. Just nestling that in that little dip there. And take my starfish And I'm going to nestle it right there. And lastly, I'm going to bring this in and I'm going to nestle it in right there. Okay, so that is that. Now we're going to bring in some linen thread. And I'm going to make a bow. I'm going to put in a nice big bow actually. Ooh, I hope I can tie this. Yes. I need to get that more in the center there. Give that a nice tug. And cut that off. And then we're going to add this with a glue dot. I like to press my bow into the glue dot, take my tweezers, scrunch up that glue dot, and then we'll just add it right here. Okay, and lastly, then, well, no, because we got to put our gems on. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's grab our card base, which I had a minute ago, and then I buried. Okay. Whew. I've got a thick basic white card base, and I've cut this at 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and I scored it at 5 1/2. And the reason why I started doing these landscape in the hot dog is because when they stand up better. If you stand something up like that, then it starts to come across. It starts to fall apart. So if you do it this way, then you don't have to worry about that falling off or falling down. My goodness. I'm struggling picking things up. Okay, so let's go ahead and put some seal on our layer, our base layer here. And then we'll add this to our card. Center it up as best we can. Okay. And our gems. We've got these low profile sparkle dots. And I'm using the Secret Sea ones. What are these? Yeah, that's what they say. Darling Duckling, Mossy Meadow, and Secret Sea. I think they look a lot like Pretty Peacock. So let's put one there. And put, come on. Put a bigger one down there. And a bigger one up here. Okay. So there is the front of our beautiful beach card. Anybody ready for the beach? Okay. Now, for the inside, I've taken and stamped Happy Birthday, and this is from the Rolling Waves stamp set. I did this same stamp that we did earlier, and then I just did some sponging here, or some blending brush there, so that we can still write our message. Okay, and then we're going to put this to the inside. And here is our envelope. And there you have card number 1. Okay, let's regroup. Clean up just a bit. Look, my little heart from earlier today wanted to be seen. Okay, so for the next card, we're still using the seashells. And this is our color palette for this card. Oh, backwards. There we go. Let's get that out of the way so I don't trash it. Oh, good. Hey, Lynette, I didn't see that you were on, but thank you. Welcome. All right. So we've got Basic Beige, Early Espresso, Pretty in Pink, Pool Party, Azure Afternoon, and Bubble Bath. Okay. I've got a bunch of masks that I've created, and all I did was stamp those and cut them out of masking paper. We've got the Pearls of Beauty for our gems. And we have very few, we are using rolling waves on this one too, I guess, just for the tiny little pieces here. Okay, but I've already cut them, stamped them, cut them, and we're good to go. Okay, because this card's going to take a little bit of effort. Okay, so we've got a base here, or a base layer, and this is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm going to start this by putting it on my glass mat here. I want the center of this card roughly. So I'm going to use the 6-inch mark, and I'm going to put this down so that I have equal space. So 1, 2 1/2, and then I've got 1, 2 1/2, right? So I should be 1, 2, yep, should be good. Wait a minute. No, I'm not good. Oh, my brain. It should go like this. Right like that. There we go. There's the center. I'm going to go ahead and mark that right here. Okay. And I'm going to mark it up here. That is an erasable pen. Okay. Then I'm going to start with my pool party. I should have these in the correct order, and I don't. I'm going to start with pool party. And I'm going to take the, whatever this is, conch shell, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, and with this particular stamp set, you have 2 conches. What did I do with this stamp set? Okay, I put it away. Oh, let me see if I can pull it back up. Okay. Okay, so you have 2. You have one that goes one direction and one that goes the other direction, which makes your fill in easier because you're going to stamp with one and fill in on the back side of the opposite. Okay, I'm going to show you that here. So this is my detailed piece, and this is the other conch shell, and I have the back side of it. Okay, so you can tell when I pull these off, they're different, right? They don't line up. But when you flip the one over, then they line up perfectly. Okay, so we're going to stamp this in Pool Party, and I'm going to stamp it about maybe 1/2 inch up. I'm not sure why I put this on the block so crooked. Okay, so I've got that. I wanted to put it roughly in the center. Okay, now I'm going to turn right around, and I'm going to take the back side and my scratch paper. Any scratch paper will work. I don't know where I put the other piece. And I'm going to stamp off. And then I'm going to stamp this in. I'll line that up as best I can and stamp that down. Okay. Then I stamped these in the same colors that I'm using. So I'm going to take my pool party mask. I can get it off this piece of plastic. And I'm going to mask this off. Okay. And then I need crumb cake. Okay. And we need to clean that stamp, both of those stamps. I'm going to clean the back and clean the front. And then I'm going to take the detailed, I'm going to take my crumb cake, and I'm going to line this up like so and stamp that down. And I want to give it a little extra pressure on that side so I don't get a halo. And then I'm going to re-ink it. I'm going to go back over here and angle that. And now I've got those. Okay. Now I'm going to take the back side. No, and I'm not going to use crumb cake. I'm going to use basic beige. Okay. And nope, I don't want to put that off. And then we're going to ink this up. And ink that up. Okay. Now we're going to clean our stamp. Again. And we're going to take Pretty in Pink. I'm going to mask this off. Oh, not with Pretty in Pink, I'm not. I need the crumb cake one. Okay. Oh man, that's not going to be good. I'm going to have to make that work. Okay, so we've got crumb cake. I'll be careful with these masks. The stamp of that masking paper, it's kind of sticky, and you would think it would come right off of that plastic easily. And then we're going to mask this one. Come on, masks, you got to work. Because I don't want to have to cut more. We don't have time for that. Okay, so now we've got those. Now we'll go to Pretty in Pink. We've got the detailed stamp. And I'm going to line this one up. And I'm trying to line up the edge here. And then we're going to line up over here and stamp that down. Okay. Then we're going with the back. And this, actually I was going to use Bubble Bath, but let's see how this goes. Yep, good enough. Not too, not too bright. Okay, we'll line that up. Okay, now we've got that. Go ahead and we're done with those, but we're not done with our masks. So now we're going to take our Pretty in Pink, and we're going to cover this up, and hopefully that will seal down that other one. I think we'll be okay though. Okay, so we've got that. This one. Okay, we've got that. All right. Then, because these masks are on, I need that to stick. I'm gonna do this. I want to make sure that's covered here in the center. And that is not wanting to stick here. So let's see if we can fix that up. Stay away from the I want it to just stick on top of those. Come on. There we go. That'll work. All right. Now we're going to bring in our blending brush again. Not that one. Oh, where did I put that other one? Well, I'm going to grab a different one because I don't want that color. All right. And then we're going to take Azure Afternoon. Okay, I've got Azure Afternoon. And, oh. I almost forgot. We need to mask off a horizon line. So I'm going to take this down so it doesn't move. Okay. And then I'm going to put the horizon line, about here. About here. Okay. All right, there we go. Now we're ready. And then we're going to ink this down here. I want this to look like water. And I should have erased that before I did anything. See if I can get it off. Yes. Okay. All right. So now we've got that. All right. Now I don't need to worry about this part anymore. So we're going to lift this up. I'm going to put some tape down here. Hold this. Okay. I'm not going to forget to erase that. Okay. It's coming together, you guys. Oh, thank you. Okay. I'm glad you're liking what I'm doing. Okay. So now we're going to take crumb cake. All right. And we're going to move our horizon line back here. And it's okay if we have a bit of white. I'm okay with that. Okay. It's not really a horizon line. It's a water and I don't know why I'm calling it the horizon line, but I am. My water line. Okay. And then we're going to put some Gotta be careful. If you have a piece that wants to lift, just go in the direction that it wants to lift so that you're not lifting it. This is best you can. You are not looking for a perfect blend here because this is the sand. Okay. 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 I think I want just a little bit more over here. Okay, there we go. I'm good with that. Now, we're going to go back before we put away our crumb cake. And we're going to take the sand. And we're just going to randomly put in some sand here all over. Turn your stamp, move it around. Okay, there we go. Now we're ready for the big reveal. Okay, put this away so I don't have a disaster. All right, there we go. Let's get rid of those. Move this out of the way. Wipe off our glass mat before I take my masks off and get stuff where I don't want it. Okay, I'm just going to lift this up. And then the easiest way to do this is to start at the bottom and take them off in the reverse order that you put them on. Okay. And I probably won't use those masks again. They're pretty wet with ink. Okay. And the last one. Oh, that one's not one. Let's start from the top. That one's already, it's not wanting to come off down there at the bottom. There we go. Okay, so this is what we have so far. All right, now we're going to go ahead and add this to our card base here in just a moment. But before we do that, I'm going to bring in the happy birthday from that stamp set. And I'm going to nestle that in so it looks like it's carved in the sand. And for this one then, we're going to use early espresso because I want this happy birthday to stand out in the sand and look like it was carved in there. Okay, so we're going to put this in. I'm going to line this up on a line on my glass mat so I know that it's straight. Like that. And then I'm just going to give that a press. And this is the small stamp positioner from the stamp positioning tool. Okay, so now we have our happy birthday. Let's go ahead and add this to our card. And our card base is early espresso. And again, it's 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2. I'm going to add this. There's my silicone mat. Just going to give that a quick run on my silicone mat to get that started. This is a new refill. It's not working quite as smoothly as I would like. Okay, I'm still doing my live. Yep, yep. Okay, so there we go. Got that. And then I want to put something down here in the center. So this is where those little shells are gonna come in. Got this one. Oh, I need two of the big ones. Oops, I need to cut one of those, I guess. No, yeah. Well, let's see. I really don't want too pink. I need this, and I need this. And hang on for 1 second here. What did I do with the other thing? I thought I had some in that other container that I'm not sure what I did with. Okay, well, we're just going to make this work. It's not really what I wanted, but it'll work. See how it works out. I really wanted another one of the large. I had those stamped, and I don't know where I put that, so that all I had to do was cut it out. But I just don't know. Okay, well, let's put this in. I put this in like this, and then I'm going to put, I really wanted a bigger one of these. This one's not going to be big enough. And then put this in here like this. Okay, I'll probably go back and restamp one of the bigger ones, and you'll see that when I post the cut, because that's not big enough for me. And I know that I stamped those pieces. I just don't know where I put them. You know what? Let's look and see if I've got some. No, I don't. Thought I had some in there, and I don't have any in here. Okay, well, whatever. I'll fix it later. I can't find that piece that I know I had stamped that I saw earlier. Oh, here it is right here. Of course, right there. Okay, hang on. I'm going to grab that die, and we'll run the mini, and I'll fix it so that it's supposed to look like it's supposed to look. So I've already got that. We're just going to line this up. I'll do that. Come on, don't give me troubles. Don't give me troubles. Okay. All right, now we'll have the proper piece. Sorry about that, you guys. I hate when I set things down and then I can't find them. And we're not going to lose that. So let's get that out right away and get it on the magnet sheet. And then we'll grab our glue dot. And I'll pull this out. Come on. Come on. Put that in my tray. And we'll slide this in. Come on. Don't give me fits here. Just get in there. There we go. That's how I want it to look. There we go. All right. Now we're in business. And then we will take our pearls of beauty. And these are in white, calypso coral, and crumb cake. And so we're just gonna, well, we're gonna try and slide these off. Alright, so we're gonna put one over here. And then I'll put one smaller one up here. And one right there. Okay, so there is the front of our card. And for the inside, I put hoping your day is perfect, did a little ink blending, used that sand stamp, and then added in those small little shells to bring that all together. And then here is our envelope for this one. I used the address to you set, this piece right here, and then added in those seashells to make that. All right, everybody. That's what I have for you tonight. I hope you enjoyed those cards and that you can see the versatility of that shell collecting set. Okay, so thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. If you wish to see more, I'll be back on Thursday night on YouTube Live at 7 p.m. And then we'll be back again here next Tuesday night at 7. If you like what you saw, be sure to give me a like and share with your crafty friends. And until then, everybody, have a great week. Thank you so much. Good night.